Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Gemini is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Gemini, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with the Two of Swords. The first position in the spread is called the Station. This is kind of like, this is who we are when we're alone, right? This is what we feel we're all about when we close our eyes, okay? When we're alone with ourselves at night, I think we are asking a question and hoping that spirit responds. You know, we're trying to trust our intuition. I feel like there is we're trying to tap into that guiding light in our lives, trying to tap into the intuition in order to make choices. Maybe we go to sleep at night kind of thinking like, what should I do? What is the right choice here for me? You know, and we see the little crescent moon on the top of that card showing us that with all of our mental debates, with all of our reasoning and questions and all this conversation we have, with all of our dialogue, at the end of the day, it's kind of like, Spirit, what do I do? You know? And this card really shows that, you know, because you have a very intellectual mind. You're a smart person. You like to analyze things. I mean, you're Gemini, come on, you know? You like to take things apart and figure out how they work. And at the end of the day, you try to trust in that intuitive energy that kind of guides you forward. Because we realize that all arguments are circular arguments, that questions just lead to more questions and more questions and more questions. They don't really lead to answers. The answers come from the intuition. The answers come from spirit. We ask the questions, but the answers come from spirit, right? Because thoughts will just lead to more thoughts. Questions will lead to more questions. The more we dissect something, the more pieces we have. Each of those pieces, we have to dissect those pieces, and then we have more pieces. And so the mind is really good at creating complexity. It's not so good at finding simplicity. That's kind of what we're looking for right now, right? So let's put this card into some context. Let's use our Dove and Serpent spread. We have a Prince of Pentacles. We have the Eight, just one card. Yeah, we have the Eight of Cups, the Two of Pentacles. We have a Princess of Wands. We have a Six of Pentacles. Look at that. Very good. Very good earth energy. Look at this horizontal path. Harmonious changes, putting in work, showing up every day, achieving success. I mean, that's right on. That's absolutely perfect. But we're sort of feeling some feelings here that we got to deal with. Here we have a Three of Cups. We have an Eight of Pentacles. We have a Ten of Cups. Wow. And the Empress. Holy smokes. Yeah, your whole life's about to flip, right? I feel like maybe this is something that's too mundane, that it's working, it's successful, look. But we don't feel all that great about it. So we're asking Spirit, what do I do? Right? I think Spirit's giving you an answer that's leading to a life that is fulfilled. And because that's kind of our fear, right? With that Ten of Cups, it feels like maybe we're never going to be really, truly happy. Okay? I kind of feel like we're ready to start dancing. I feel like this is us really shaking off some of that serious energy, you know. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're just going to set it over here with Mr. Tao, the yin-yang duck, right on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Let's use our intuition. Yeah, let's use it. Anyway, as we look around the room, we see one major arcana energy, and that's everything. That's the Empress. That's Big Rock Candy Mountain. That's your paradise. That's the Garden of Eden. That's your best self living your best life, right? That's all of our goal, is to get the Empress life, okay? We've got fire. We've got some water energy. We've got a little bit of air, and we got the earth. So really, it's kind of like we have a lot of water and a lot of earth. So this is about the work that you're doing, and I don't mean just what you do for money, for scratch, for Skrilla. That, yes, but what you're burning calories doing every day, what you're giving all your time, effort, energy, and or money to. What is your work? What is your general, like, the general tasks of your day? Like, what are you doing with your life kind of work, you know? And since we have water and earth, it kind of feels like it's about what we're doing and how we feel about what we're doing. Okay, because on the path of the dove, we're not feeling so good. When we get over here, we're feeling much more inspired, we're feeling fulfilled, we're feeling like there's growth. Maybe this is success, but it's sort of success of the wrong kind. This might be a lot of external accomplishments and reaching your goals and things, but we want to also augment that with things that bring us satisfaction, pleasure, joy, connection. I think relationships. I think we're growing new relationships. We're branching out into other things in life that are going to bring us more fulfillment. This is a very steady course, but this is kind of like a one-track mind. Okay? The second card is the battle card. And the battle card is kind of like, what is our quest right now? What is the challenge that's facing us? Well, this is a challenge of showing up every day, sticking with something, keeping our nose to the grindstone, being reliable, being diligent, being persevering, right? This is a fixed earth energy. It's the builder. Your quest right now is to build something. Even though we're feeling that Eight of Cups, we're feeling maybe bored, a little disappointed, we're feeling like our cup's half empty, we're kind of feeling like I'm losing interest, I'm not so motivated, I'm not so enthusiastic about it, but I want to be. And now that I feel kind of bad that I don't feel all happy and cheerful and motivated and excited and enthusiastic, and now I feel bad that I don't feel that way. You know what I mean? So this is the challenge. How do we keep going even when we're not feeling motivated? I feel like this is a purpose for you, and I feel like that's we're kind of asking Spirit here. What am I supposed to do, right? Spirit saying, keep doing what you're doing. Stick with it. Don't give up. Don't fall victim to your own emotional fluctuations. Spirit saying, keep going. Spirit is saying that your quest right now is to figure out how to stick with something even after that initial rush and excitement and joy has gone. Okay, when it has abated a little bit, when it has waned. How do we keep going? We're not going to be motivated every day. We're not going to be inspired every moment of just excitement, you know, but we want to. We want to dance. We want to we want to be silly. We want to, shake the seriousness off of us right now. Maybe that's really what Spirit is telling you, is to find a way to make it fun. Okay, so it could be a reference up here. Down beneath the surface, okay, this is position 3. It is the soul. It is the emotional state inside of you. And really, this is a state of our emotions that just says the happiness is kind of, it seems like it's on its way. The tide is going out. And I don't know what to think about that. You know, something that you used to be very, very excited about. Now we're just kind of like, it's a chore. You know, maybe it's a relationship. Maybe this is the job you're doing, the work, right? And it kind of feels like there was a time, like when I first started, I was really happy, really excited. I couldn't wait to wake up and do it. And now I'm facing the day like, oh gosh, another day. It's going to be so stressful. It's going to be tiring and exhausting. And I don't know how I'm going to keep doing this, you know, for however many years to come. And so we start to get a little pessimistic. Yeah. And I think this is the feeling. We need to acknowledge this feeling. We need to recognize it and accept it. but yet still do what we need to do. So I feel like this is a message where Spirit is saying, don't give up, don't abandon your path right now. Just because we're feeling that it is like it almost feels like we're losing hope a little bit, okay? That we might be feeling, I don't know, you insert any word you want, melancholy, bummed out, in a funk, in a rut. We might be feeling a little low, right? The water energy is drained out of it a little bit. We see that these cups are cracked, broken. The water's trickling away, and we're thinking, I don't know what this means. Does this mean that I'm a bad person? Does this, should I feel bad for feeling bad? Does this mean that I'm meant to change course? What does this mean? And we're sort of asking, as much as we think about it with our Two of Swords, at the end of the day, we're asking Spirit, what do I do? Self, Spirit guide, holy guardian angel, ancestor, what do I do? I think the message is clear. Keep going. Don't give up on this. This is your path in life. And it's not always going to be fun and games. Sometimes it's going to feel as if nothing is really feeling right. Okay? Maybe this is a relationship with somebody. It's not going to be all fun and excitement all the time. Sometimes it might just be all we can do to show up. Suit up and show up, right? Regardless of how we're being received, regardless of what it feels like in the moment. Maybe this is, I don't know, it could be the job, right? It could be like raising kids. It could be a romantic experience, a romantic relationship or a spouse, a partner or something. It could be a friendship. It's not always going to be wonderful and feel good. Some days it might just be, again, all we can do to just show up and do what we're supposed to do. Suit up and show up. Yeah. And I feel like that's the message for Spirit right now, or from Spirit for you. And it doesn't take away the significance of this. It feels as if the hope and the optimism is draining away. Persist anyway. Now, the next card in our spread is position 4. It's the dwarf, right? And these are sometimes cards that are things that happened in the past that are still affecting us. A previous issue or something that it still sort of, it still means something to you, right? And so this could be some disappointing events, right? The Two of Pentacles is always a change. Okay, it's always something that flips. It's always something that that has gone from one way to a different way. Yeah, and so I feel like in the recent past something changed, or somebody behaved toward you a way that you weren't used to, in a different way than they usually do, right? This is, you're raising kids and like you have this wonderful relationship with your kids. Then suddenly one day it feels like they turn on you, and it feels like they don't like you. They're angry at you, or they're sort of interacting with you in a different way. And it's one of those challenges. I think it happens in everybody's life, especially with kids as they get older. It still affects us now. Like this is something that happened yesterday, but when I wake up today, I still am feeling it. Okay, so it could be something at work. It could be that there's been a change at work, and we're maybe not always so aware of how it's made us feel. And it's not till I really look at the feeling that says, oh man, yeah, that really does affect me. Because maybe we are the type of person that, doesn't believe that things affect us that way, but they do. The things that happen, maybe they changed a policy, maybe they switched your office to some other place, or maybe somebody left or quit or got fired or something. And you realize now, as we're feeling this feeling, we're thinking, yeah, that really bothered me. That really bothered me. And I think once we acknowledge that, once we identify that, then it sort of gives us a little bit of power to say, okay, well, I recognize that. It's not that I'm losing interest in the job. It's not that, it's not that I'm truly feeling melancholy and hopeless and helpless and pessimistic. It's that I'm having a reaction to something that happened out in the world, in my life. Okay? And so we by identifying that these events, series of events, maybe one particular thing, sort of recognizing that as like, okay, that sort of hurt my feelings, or that made me feel this way, and I let that event get to me, and the longer we ignore it, the sort of deeper this card gets, and the stronger its influence on our consciousness, on our personality, right? So then it sort of, it becomes the message from Spirit saying, just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing everything fine. You're doing everything right. You're not doing anything wrong. But don't let this negative emotion then influence your behavior, because then it becomes a vicious cycle. It's an 8. It's a lemniscate. It is the infinity symbol. It's looping back in on itself. The more we feel bad, we're out in the world, and we're operating from that feeling, and sort of more bad things happen. Then I feel worse again. The more I don't think about this card, the worse it gets. It sort of feeds on that unconscious energy, and it's influencing our daily life more and more and more. So this is one of those cards where we have to look at it, and we have to sort of, we have to ask those questions. Okay, why do I feel the way I do? What is it that's holding me in this feeling? Because this is kind of a swampy feeling, right? We realize kind of what happened that sort of initiated it. And then we say, okay, well, I can make the choice to behave in a different way. I can make the choice to kind of let it go and just do what I need to do and persist. Doesn't mean that I'm going to walk into the room with a big fake smile on my face and pretend that I'm just, super duper and chipper. But it's saying I recognize that, and I'm choosing to let go of that, and I'm choosing to not let that feeling or that event turn me into a negative person or to lower my vibrations. Okay. Now the next card is the Princess of Wands. It's up here at the top. And this is the Giant. This is kind of like, this is what we really want, right? We want to dance with the tiger. We want to feel that excitement again. This is ecstatic. So you think of the adrenaline and just the power and the excitement of dancing with the tiger, right? Feeling that sort of, feeling that adrenaline and that excitement. I feel like that's what we want. We want to get the motivation back. We want to feel as if we are loving this process. I can't wait to wake up in the morning, and then I'm fired up, like I've had too much coffee and I'm just bouncing off the walls, excited. This is an extreme. This is an extreme. This is an extreme. And these get further and further away. What we need to do is balance right now, right? We don't need to be overly ecstatic. We don't need to be sinking down into a funk either. Spirit wants you to say steady as she goes. Steady as she goes, steady as she goes. Keep doing what you're doing. You don't have to be ecstatic. You don't have to be depressive either, right? So, I feel like you're somebody that really, and maybe maybe this is a little bit of a clue or a little bit of a trick, a life hack, right? Maybe if we can move our bodies a little bit, if we can loosen up, if we can dance a little bit, laugh a little bit, get silly a little bit, right? Smile a little bit, it'll help us to get out of that feeling. And then we'll be okay. It's kind of like you go to work and it's just another miserable day at the office. But then your buddy's there telling a couple jokes, and suddenly it's like, oh man, oh Joe over in cubicle 3, like what a character, and it makes us feel better. That interaction with other people, it just kind of lightens the mood. And it may even be like you talk to your friend and you say, hey, on lunch break, let's go outside and walk. It's a nice day. Let's go walk around, Maybe this is, we go to the park after work and we swing on the swings, We go down the slide a few times. Maybe it's like we go for a run. Maybe this is you go to the gym and you hit the boxing punching bag a few times or something, right? Some physical activity. This is card of earth and fire. And so part of your solution here is going to be physical activity, getting in touch with your body, getting your body moving, exercising, sweating, doing some kind of intentional movement. I think is going to be a good thing to alleviate a little bit of this melancholy. Okay. But anyway, enough about the bad stuff, right? The good stuff, the Six of Pentacles in the future position. This is the imago. This is the image of ourselves. We know, Spirit is telling us, look, if you keep doing what you're doing, everything's going to come and everything's going to fall into place for you. Everything will be in alignment, okay? Everything will harmonize. There is light here, and you're going towards this wonderful light of success. This is the card of material success. And you may say, yeah, I know, I keep doing what I'm doing, and the money's going to be there. I'm going to be, physically successful at this thing, obviously. If I quit, then I'm not going to get the money. If I stay here and I do the work, I'm going to get the paycheck. So it makes sense. And so I feel like we realize that we kind of have to stay. We have to keep doing this because it's the right thing to do, whether this is a relationship, a family thing, or a work or career thing, doesn't matter. We know that the right thing to do is to stay here and keep doing it because that's going to lead to a successful outcome, in the material world, materially successful, either the money or the health or the completion of the project or whatever it is, right? The successful, raising of our kids, whatever. So we're going to stay. There's no question, but we're trying to find a way to make it a little bit more fun for ourselves right now, And I think that the way forward for you also is Six of Pentacles, 6 pillars of health and well-being, right? Intentional movement, but also intentional eating, adequate sleep, hydration, interpersonal relationships, connecting with the sense of purpose, right? A spiritual practice, stress reduction. I don't know, maybe that's more than 6, but you get the idea. So we have to harmonize ourselves. And it's interesting because there is this change that happened and we haven't harmonized with it yet. Because maybe we didn't even realize how much we were affected by it. And now, I know I was affected by that, and I can choose to do things that will help me to harmonize with this situation, with this path that I'm on. Now, position 7 on the path of the serpent, this is the persona. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. The persona is the Three of Cups. This is the card of celebration, jubilation. It's the card of gratitude and appreciation. Sometimes we have to smile. And it's hard to be, if we force ourselves to smile, it's hard to be upset, But the thing is, it's hard to smile when you're upset. If you're identifying with being upset, it's hard to smile. If you're identifying with smiling, it's hard to be upset. It's like you can't smile and frown at the same time, I don't think. At least not usually, anyway. Now, Spirit's saying something about you getting stuck in an elevator at some point in your life. I don't know why that message is coming through. Maybe it's a funny story. I feel like you lost something and you're going back in to find it or something like that, and then the elevator got stuck or it broke or it wouldn't open or something like this. Yeah. But anyway, it's supposed to be a funny story, I think. The idea is if we express our gratitude, if we put on our persona of a loving and grateful and happy person, doesn't mean we're just masking, but in a way we kind of are, right? It doesn't mean we're being inauthentic because everything is a persona. Everything is a mask, right? We are pure spirit underneath all of it. So this is kind of like saying we can combat the negative low vibrational feeling by doing some high vibrational stuff. Go out and volunteer. Go out and move your body. Focus on your relationships. Smile, laugh, play. Paint, draw, right? Music, listen to music, play music. Treat yourself, get a massage. Treat other people. Tell other people how you feel about them. Let yourself kind of feel emotional and tell people that you care about them. Tell people you want to hug. This is Mercury in Cancer. This is about communicating how we feel, communicating what we need as a strategy. So if I'm feeling blue, or I'm in a funk, or I'm in a rut, I'm feeling melancholy, we go and we do something nice for somebody. We do something to make somebody else smile, and then we're smiling too. We do something kind for somebody else, and it's basically like we're being kind to ourselves too, because we're seeing ourselves reflected in other people. I think the more gratitude and love we radiate out, the more it comes back to us. The more we start to feel it almost instantly. When you help a little old lady across the road, you instantly feel better about life. Because you connected with somebody. You did something kind for somebody. It's not transactional. I'm not doing it just because I want to feel better, right? It's always authentic. And it's okay for there to be it's okay for things to be a win-win. That by helping others, I'm also helping myself and I feel better. It's a win-win. There's no downside there. Okay? And so I feel like this is, as your persona, as your general energy, this is a really strong recommendation for you in order to start to harmonize with the path you're on. Again, you're going to experience a lot of success. Whatever you're doing, it's really like you're going in a really good direction. It's okay that you don't always feel that great about things, or that we kind of have doubts, and we sometimes lose our motivation, okay? We can get the motivation back by reconnecting with others. Now, the next card is the Eight of Pentacles. It's in the position of your environment and the position of your relationships. It's patience, it's growth, it's attention to detail. Buy somebody in your life something nice. Doesn't have to be expensive. Do something thoughtful for somebody else. Something that lets somebody else know that you noticed them. This card's all about paying attention to the details. The little needs, the subtle needs of others that they don't talk about. It's like, here, I bought you a can opener. I noticed you didn't have one. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, how did you know? I've been needing a can opener for years and I never got one, whatever. It's silly, but it doesn't have to be, probably the sillier the better, right, in this case. So I think that's a really important practice as well. I think you're naturally like a good gift giver, though. I feel like you know what other people need. And I think it's okay for us to let other people know what we need too. Maybe not the can opener, but maybe a hug. Maybe a little bit of laughter. Maybe a little bit of, time to relax or something like this, right? A little bit of outdoor time. Maybe we need a little bit of playfulness. We need a little bit of love sometimes. Okay. But I think this card's also about us cultivating relationships, that we're looking for ways to sort of branch out and develop personal connections with people, especially if this is a work thing. We see a lot of this good earth energy here, which saying I'm showing up every day and I'm succeeding at my job, but I don't feel that good. Okay, well, we want to feel better, so we know what things we can do so we feel better in this situation. Maybe we need to make more personal connections with those coworkers. Maybe we need to have a little bit of bonding. And I think with a coworker, or anyone really, if you do something kind for them that they weren't expecting, right? I think it really, they're going to recognize that. You know what I mean? That's going to be a moment of connection there. And I think that it's really, it's random acts of kindness, random acts of being, kind of service to people. It feels good when somebody drops something on the ground and you pick it up and you say, excuse me, you dropped this. And I think, oh my gosh, thanks, I didn't know I dropped that. Really simple things. But they make a difference to the other person. They make a difference to us. Okay, so especially if this is work or if this is family or something like this. I think it's in the small things that are going to improve your experience of this work you're doing, whatever it is, family, friends, the work stuff, whatever, right? The card of the ninth card, the fear, worry, concern card, right? This is kind of what we have anxiety over. Fulfillment, satisfaction, a 10 out of 10 dream come true life. We're worried that we're never going to feel like our cups are filled up. And that's a natural thing. When we're feeling low, feels like we'll never get up again. When we're feeling depleted or drained emotionally, feels like we'll never be restored. We already know a few practices that we can do to help restore some of this. Okay, not the least of which is that intentional movement, right? And playing, going to the park, going for a run or a walk or, whatever it is. finding something that can get us smiling and laughing and playing and can get us a little bit excited. Doesn't have to be related to this. Maybe this is a boring job, right? We can do other things. We can augment this with other things so that we feel that there's something more wholesome about life, you know? This is the Ten of Cups. We want these Ten of Cups no matter how we have to arrange them. It's not very likely we find one job that fills every need we have. In fact, it's highly unlikely, right? We need one sort of thing for the money and maybe the creative outlet, maybe a little bit of the social interaction, but then we have personal relationships for more of the intimate things, for more of the curiosity, the hobbies, the excitement, right, outside of the workplace. It's not that we find one situation that fills all of our needs. It's not like you have one friend that is everything to you. I mean, maybe you do, but to put all of our cups in one sort of realm, I think is impractical. So, again, we have a job. Maybe it's the thing that pays the bills. What else do you have in life, right? Because especially with that Empress, that's a life. That's a dynamic, symbiotic life, an interconnected life where everything supports everything else. Everything feeds everything else. It's not just one thing that's going to fill all these cups. Okay. Except in a metaphysical way, because it is sort of like the Ace of Cups fills all these cups. But the Ace of Cups is spirit. It's the spiritual heart, right? And so in a way, it's kind of saying that our fulfillment really comes from inside of us. So we're not relying on external things to fill up our cups. We know that we have to do it from that spiritual center inside of us, through the means of our physical engagements in our life and our lifestyle and our connections and our relationships and our activities and our choices and all that stuff, right? So, we're lying in bed at night and we're asking Spirit, what do I do? And Spirit says, open up your heart and fill your cups. Fill them up. Right? If this means we're going out and finding a new hobby, we're going to go make some new friends, we're going to go do something we haven't done before, we're going to reconnect with old people that we need, we're going to find a way to make the job more fun and connect with people there, to make this a more robust experience. Because our destiny is this Empress energy. This is paradise. This is where everything is being fed. Every flower in the garden, every plant in the garden is getting a little bit of water. Nothing is being neglected or ignored, right? We're not going to focus on just these plants over here, and then everything else in the garden is withering away. Everything in the garden is getting water, sunlight, and soil, and a whole lot of love. Yeah. So this to me feels like a dynamic and organic experience of life, where everything is connected, everything is growing together, that some things are falling away and new things are growing, right? There's always this cultivation in our lives. Let's look at the mystery card. Now, this is the guide. This is your inner self, your true self, higher self, waiting to lead you forward. What is this going to be? Well, I think maybe some fire energy. Maybe the lust or strength card. Maybe a Knight of Wands. Maybe some kind of fire. Some kind of fiery card. Emperor, maybe. Maybe the Eon card or Judgment. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. It is the Hierophant. Okay. It's a fixed earth. It's this card again. Both of these are Taurus energies. I would watch the Taurus reading if I were you. But the Hierophant here, as sort of an echoing of this card, is saying it is your responsibility to keep going in this life and to establish the harmony and to pursue your happiness and your fulfillment. Okay, and doing so with a sense of purpose. I feel like this is you accepting the guidance of Spirit. We're sort of like, like I said with the Two of Swords, we're lying in bed, we're asking Spirit, what do I do? And Spirit gives us the answer and we say, no, what do I do? And Spirit gives you the answer and you say, yeah, but what should I do? We have to accept the wisdom that we're being offered by Spirit. Okay, so that we know, and we have in order to do that, we have to humble ourselves, right? And that's why there's two figures in the front of this card. That's the ego. The ego in the realm of opposites. There are two figures. It represents the ego, the opposites. There's me and there's not me. There's me and there's everybody else. There's left and there's right. There's up, there's down. There's happy, there's sad. There's hot, there's cold, right? So we're humbling our ego. The ego is way low down in the card, almost out of the frame in this image. And the ego is receiving the guidance from our higher self. And so we know that, yes, we have to continue on this path. This is our life, and we're building our life. We have to intentionally do positive things to get us out of this funk or this rut that we might be feeling, and we're going to get happy. I mean, I feel like your life is going to flip here, and there are things that we can do in order to pull ourselves out of this and start experiencing all the love and all the fulfillment, all the meaning and purpose and satisfaction that this life has for you. Okay. And we're going to do an extended reading as well. If you want to stick around, we're going to do an I Ching hexagram. We're going to do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner. There's a link down below in the video description. New readings for Gemini, Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.